What's moving and shaking, my peoples? Mr. Jonathan Budd is here. Oh, come on. Is it seriously doing that thing again to me when I show? I'm not going to show you the screen. I'm showing you the screen. That is not right. Mark, hold on a second here, partner. Things might get crazy.
Things are getting a little harried over here. Greetings, everybody. We're pumped. Beating back the technical demons.
All right, it should be looking good. And Mark, does everything look good to you? Can you see the screen?
I can see the screen. I see the slides off to the left, if that matters to you.
No, I am quite a perfectionist. What about now? Does it look good?
I see the galaxy in the background here and all sorts of things.
You should just be seeing the straight-up screen. It should look beautiful. It should be a beautiful screen of slides.
I see the intergalactic wormholes in the background. Now we're getting somewhere.
Now you see nothing.
Now I see nothing.
I'm going to show my screen again, and tell me if you see pure gorgeous.
Boom!
Yes, people. That's what I'm talking about. Unstoppable right there. Unstoppable.
That's Unstoppable Millionaire right there. Let's do this.
So, my friends, welcome to tonight's class. As you can see, 13 Secrets to Networking Mastery and how to maximize the value you extract from live events. In the spirit of Unstoppable Weekend here, the Unstoppable Week for our upcoming Unstoppable Entrepreneur event, which, by the way, is the best event ever. You're pretty much absolutely insane, crazy, and there is something potentially wrong with you. If you don't go, I'm just going to put that out there as a disclaimer. And in the spirit of this incredible event, Mark and I wanted to teach 13 secrets that we've used over the course of our life to just build tremendous networks and really master this art of networking, which at this point has just produced some crazy, crazy results in life. I'm befuddled sometimes at the people we know, Mark. Mark, how are you doing tonight, my friend? Are you pumped up about this class? You pumped up about Unstoppable?
I've never been more pumped. I just had sushi with my aunt, who is not even remotely involved in this industry and is on the edge of coming just because she's heard about it and she wants to see us in action. So that was kind of a highlight. I just finished that conversation up an hour ago. So
okay, well, let's make absolute sure that she's there. You know, it's so funny because I've been talking to like my friends and whatnot, and they're like, hey, should my sister come? And should my dad, like my dad wants to come and my sister wants to come and everybody wants to come, and like nobody even really knows like what it is and they want to come. You know what I mean? And that just is symbolic of the gravity right now, the unstoppable gravity. What we want you to feel is the gravity that this event has, and as we just continue to share about it, really, really, really just consider being there yourself. Now, how to attend live events and gain the most value possible. We're going to go through 13 secrets, my friends, that are just life-changing secrets when you apply them in your networking, and hopefully will help you craft a really clear intention, almost give you a framework for networking, so that as you move through life now and you're doing all your networking, these secrets are always in the back of your mind. Mark, do you want to kind of take number one on here?
Well, number one, setting your firm expectation that you will create life-changing relationships. Here's a key thing when you show up at these kind of things is it's almost like, imagine you have a library, a bookshelf, and the books are stacked in there, they're packed, they're messy. The bookshelf doesn't look like it can contain any new books. You couldn't put a piece of art on there or in the bookshelf or anything because it's just packed, it's messy, it's busy. And a lot of times people come, because our lives can get busy and packed and this and that, and a lot of times people come to a live event and they don't open up and clear space for the potential for brand new best friends, brand new business paradigms, brand new movements forward in their life. And secret number one, when I come to these things, is I literally like clearing a physical space. I clear a space in my mind, in my heart, in my just my psyche that, you know what, I'm open and I'm ready for brand new people, brand new ideas to come into my life. Not just the presentations on stage, but the relationships. That's the big net in it. So JB, that's kind of where I'm at on the secret number one.
And the only thing I'd like to add to that, because it's truly brilliant, if you don't clear that space, then it's not going to show up. If you don't set that intention, if you don't set that expectation, if you don't go in with a clear goal, then you're not going to extract that value. Kind of how I look at it is that every event you attend, you're looking for a net result of relationships, right? So knowing that you're in a room with like Unstoppable, there's going to be 1,000 people there. Okay, we've got over 1,100 tickets sold already. There's going to be, close to 1,000 people, probably more. And the ability for you to find like-minded, key people who will be long-term, lasting relationships, business partners, friends, potentially even loved ones if you're single. The likelihood that you're going to be able, you're in a room with just such a tremendous amount of people that you're going to be able to find truly meaningful relationships is very, very, very high. There's not a lot of other times where you get a chance to meet so many aligned people. So you should really be looking for a net of 2 to 5 long-term relationships, and just expanding your network at that capacity. I know that a lot of times we don't see this, and really, as I'm going to talk about later, you don't even want to look at your network as a dollar sign. But I'm telling you right now, it is. Like, the more people you know, the more friendships, the more deep connections you have, its result is oftentimes an ability to create money, because with deep connections is trust, and with trust is a glue that keeps a network together. And as you move through business deals and business relationships and all sorts of things, believe me, a lot of monetary value is shared. And so, my network at this point, Jesus, I couldn't even, if I were to take all the people I know and aggregate all the money I've made, you can literally find that almost every relationship is worth, $10,000, $12,000. Who even knows what it is? But it's a huge number. Obviously, some of those relationships are creating the bulk of that value, but if you were to just take the sum of the money you've made via the network and divide it by who you know, for me, I don't even know what the number would be, but it'd be a huge number per person. And so that's what it's going to be like for you as you continue to move forward, establishing and building your network and rolling out products and rolling out opportunities. And your network is just super, super key. So look to net at least 2 to 5 relationships from each event you go to.
Secret number 2. Before we move on there, J-Bud, just raise your hand if you're with us on the secret number 1. Clearing that space, preparing that, kind of opening up 2 to 3 to 5 new relationships that could commodify into wealth, but could commodify into major mindsets. Okay, so we're getting good percentage of hands raised. I'd like to see that. J-Bud, secret number 2.
So, my friends, this is so key, because I'll tell you right now, just in my story, and I'd like to just share tonight from a place of experience, right? What's my experience when it comes to networking, and what's my experience when I'm at events and all these things? And I'll tell you right now, the people who annoy me the most are the ones who come up and there's zero space of listening in them. It's only an outpouring of like whatever they want to say or whatever they're doing or whatever the heck's going on. There's especially if you're in a social environment, obviously there's a lot of different contexts for how I might experience an event. But if I go to an event where nobody knows who the heck I am, I didn't just speak, I didn't get off stage or anything like that, but I'm just at an event. If I'm hanging out and I'm talking and I'm meeting people and I'm at a dinner with a group or I'm at the bar with a group, and nobody ever takes the time to even ask, hey, what is it you do? Hey, what's going on? Hey, who are you? What's going on? Like, trying to understand who I am. But if it's only always about them, right? Hey, I've got this thing coming up. Hey, here's my business card. Hey, here's my blah, blah, blah. Hey, blah, blah, blah. If there's no space of listening in them, I rule them out as a person that I even want to be networking with almost instantaneously. Almost instantaneously. If there's not a space of listening, I'm ruling that person out. They're not a person I really want to be in a relationship with. Because think about it. Who are your best friends? Your best friends, I can guarantee you, are the people that you trust to listen to you. They're the people who have created a listening. You know, if you go to them and you've got something to share, that they'll listen to you. Those are your closest people in life. It's just the ones who we know we can count on to listen. And they're not going to, you know, be all anxious, and they're not going to try to shoo us away, and they're not going to try to, you know, get rid of us, and they're not going to cut us off. And we have a safety, a comfort that we can just, you know, be heard, and they'll listen to us. Those are our best friends in life. That's the person you want to be when networking. When you're that person, you suck people into you. People are like magnetized to you. Does that make sense?
And J-Bud is really the master, even on a very private level. Like when we went out, again, do I eat sushi every meal? But anyway, we were out at sushi in San Diego, and just how you listened into me, just saying, so, you know, growing up, like the questions, you just question after question. It was so focused on me. You did it when we were out at Gordon Biersch again this weekend with one of our partners that were at the table, just asking and listening and hearing, like, what's your intention for the next 3 years? What are you looking for? You know, where are you at? Just those kind of questions and listening. It's the exact opposite of what an amateur would think. An amateur would think, if I want people to like me and know me, I got to show myself. I got to be out there. I got to be loud. And it's actually the exact opposite. That's the zen of communication, is you make something all about someone else, and then they're all about you.
Exactly. You know, what's going to happen is the person's going to feel so deeply acknowledged by you, so deeply sort of like, holy smokes, like, you know, this person really cares. Like, because care is really demonstrated through our ability to just listen and know someone. And they're going to feel so acknowledged that all of a sudden they're going to be like, holy crap, who are you? And they're going to want to know all about you. And they're going to want to dive into your life. And that's the basis of a true bond, of a true connection, of a true friendship. And that's really, you know, when all is said and done in this industry, I'll tell you right now who long-term I do business with. My friends. My friends is who I do business with long-term. And I've networked with every damn person there is to network at this. I've hung out with every top internet marketer in the world, every top personal development person in the world, blah, 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 blah. But what actually matters at the end of the day is, am I still doing business with those people? Yeah, I may have done a deal or two here or there. There may be this, that. But who I really do business with long-term, the only people I even really want to do business with long-term are my friends. And those are the people that I can count on and rely on time and time again, because we're friends. We have something deeper than business. Even if no business was involved, we'd still want to know what the heck each other's up to. How you doing? I miss you, buddy. What are you doing? How's things? Like, it's friendship. So, you know, practice listening to people at events. The more you listen, the more people will deeply respect you. And, you know, you're really going for your friends here, my friends. You're really going to form those deep, long-term friendships. Let's get to secret number 3. Are you guys getting value out of this, though? Before we continue along, just raise your hand if you're getting value. Keep your hands raised, and I want to see in your comment box if you're getting value so far. You know, just throw down in the comments, say, yeah, you guys are doing great. Keep going, rock on.
Got it.
Wonderful, 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 because that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we are causing paradigm shifts in your approach to networking. We want to cause those paradigm shifts, and when we feel your guys' energy, that's when we're pumped up, right, Mark? Don't you get more 100%. Pumped up when we feel their energy? Okay, perfect.
100%.
Secret number 3. Mark, do you want to tackle?
Secret number 3, show a powerful presence. And this is really a technique that you almost work from the outside in. Your posture actually affects your persona. It's interesting. But look directly in the eyes of people without burning a hole through them. Don't put your head down. Don't slouch. And feel strong and proud. And really the secret here is, I think of the dog trainer, the dog whisperer. He did an episode where a dog just had The dog's head was always down. It was scared of its own shadow. The dog was just freaking out. And he said, I'm going to do an experiment where we take it for a walk, but I actually put a leash on its tail and hold its tail up instead of down in between its legs. And by changing the dog's posture, it became more alert and less fearful. And the dog changed its behavior based on its posture. Really, it was radical for me to watch that. But this very similar thing, sometimes when you get in a room, you might find yourself you might see yourself in a conversation with 5-6-figure earners, and there might be a 7 or 8-figure earner sprinkled in there, and all of a sudden you might shut down. And I actually saw this weekend at an event in San Diego where just a young guy shut down in the presence of some big boys that he was around, and you could see it in his posture. And so what you want to do is at this event, again, it's about being open and your body posture open, shoulders back, head up, eyes looking, literally eyes looking, strong. And when you do that from an external space, internally you're going to be prepared and ready. Now, that's so key. I can't even go deeper into it. But JB, that's my heart on that stuff.
Key. That's a super key distinction just about how to carry yourself. That will make a big difference. And one thing I kind of want to say about just as you're practicing presence, I think the thing that I really like when I'm networking and kind of the people I'm drawn to those people who I can just tell are being present. They're not trying to be heard. They're not afraid to be outspoken, but they're not pushing their voice on others, right? They're people who I can tell are comfortable in their own skin. They're comfortable just sitting, being quiet. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you're networking, you're meeting a lot of new people, you're in different social situations. There's this sort of sometimes we're trying to be heard, we're trying to get in on a conversation, but there's an element of sometimes people try to force it. They try to force their way into a conversation or say something. And I found myself in these situations a lot. And what I do is I just sit and I really just kind of connect with myself. And I just sort of find, rather than try to force my way into a conversation, whatever, I just connect with myself and I'll just sit and I'll be quiet and I'll just literally practice being comfortable in my own skin without needing anything. Right? Just total comfort in my own skin without needing anything. I don't need to be heard. I don't need anybody to pay attention to me. I don't need to be looked at. I don't need to be known. Nothing. Just practice being comfortable in my own skin. And it's that kind of powerful presence that I think, it's what draws me. I know that. Those are the people who I go over and say, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? What's going on, buddy? And those people sort of draw me in. And so they don't need to be, loud or outspoken, but just that powerful presence. Practice just being present. Practice just being in that moment and being fully comfortable and confident in your own skin without needing anything. And that's a big distinction.
That is such a big distinction that I'm not even going to spend more time on it. But it's just... Well, let me give you a case in point. I was at a cigar bar. This was in the last month or so. And a guy came up who knew a friend that I was having a cigar with. And he came up and he didn't know me at all. Had no clue who I was, knew nothing about me, whatever. And he started asking a little bit about me. I said I was an internet guy. And he's like, so how's that going for you? I said, it's going pretty well. And I just deflected kind of back onto him and I got to know him pretty well and stuff. And at the end, he asked the friend I was with, he's like, that guy is really amazing. And the guy I was with, my friend, was like, you didn't tell him anything about you. Like, he doesn't know that you're this internet guru. You didn't put it up at all. You didn't talk about it, this big money you're making or anything like that. But what the interesting part was, the guy I met, this new guy, was almost enraptured by me, interested in learning more, and he had a ton of questions about me. But it's totally reverse. It's completely reverse of what we think. So that's kind of the theme of these secrets.
You demonstrated.
Raise your hand if you feel what we're saying here. This is deep level stuff. Loving it.
You
Loving it. So,
demonstrated it. You demonstrated it through your presence, is what you did.
exactly.
And that's
Exactly.
really when it's truly felt, when you truly make an impact on people. Guess what? It's not from the accomplishment you just told them. It's not from I did this, I did that. I'll tell you, that's one of the first things at an event when somebody comes up and they're like, boom, 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 here's what I've done, and it almost feels like they're trying to prove something to me. That's exactly when I begin to disqualify them from being like real, or like a real player, or whatever it might be, instantly. But the people who are just like, who demonstrate who they are through their presence, not through their accomplishments, not through their background, not through all the things they've done, but through their presence, they demonstrate who they are. Holy crap, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's powerful. When you get that distinction, you will change everything in how you network. You will change everything in your life. And it also begs the question, how do you become more present? What's stopping you from being present? What's in your way? Are there a million thoughts racing through your mind when you sit down to talk to somebody or listen to somebody? I mean, what's going on in your mind right now? What's in between you and total presence? And that's an area of focus that you've got to make a priority in your life. Got to make a
Here's
priority
a
in your life.
here's a case study from this weekend. We were at an event, and this was a good guy. So I have no like bitterness or angst when I share any of these stories about people. So don't worry, feel me out on this. But a guy comes up to me, cool guy, and really cool guy actually. But he comes up and says, "Hey, I said, well, what's your story?" And actually said, I was a stockbroker or this and that, and I did this, and I was, making 350,000 a year, and I was doing this, and I was doing that, and he just rattled off all these accomplishments, and I didn't really ask for him though, but right away I just said, can I coach you a little bit? And he's like, yeah. I said, you came up, and every word you've said was about your past, and how are you actually doing in this internet thing? Well, I'm not doing anything. I said, I can tell by your language. Everything is, you identify your entire being on your past. I said, in this space, now and the future is the only space that matters. Raise your hand if you guys feel me on this. And the depth of that. And I said, you can't bring your past. The internet doesn't care what you earn, your GPA in high school. It doesn't care what you earned in 1998. The internet doesn't care. The people don't care about those things anymore. So it was really key, where if he would have came in and just not been about his accomplishments, we would have got a lot deeper in our relationship, even though we ended up kind of going deep because I scolded him a bit. But anyway.
Game on. So class is everything. And to me, class is really, very symmetrical with presence too, just the way you show up. Let's move on. Secret number 5. Mark, you should hit this one too.
Well, I was hot on this one too. Secret number 5 is to admire leaders without ever putting them on an unachievable pedestal. So you might see a couple of the speakers and be around them, and it's really good and dignified and in line with maybe your vision, like to really admire and respect these people that have done great things. They've gone from really, in their parents' house qualifying for welfare or whatever, or beat up or fired or down and out, and then go on to achieve 6, 7, 8 figures. It's really great to admire those people. Here's where it goes off the edge. When you're a fan instead of a student, right? And you can even be a fan. You can even be a fan and be like, yeah, I gotta, this speaker's awesome or this chick's awesome, but don't put them out of your league. Don't put them like they're superhuman. Like you can't do that. Like they're so much smarter. They're so much more charismatic. They're so much better looking. They're so much, and you just make this big qualification of what they are. And what you're really doing is you're basically building a case against yourself to achieve everything you can do. Don't do that. So when you're around leaders, absolutely admire them, absolutely honor them. That's the only way into their environment. But don't put them on a pedestal where you can't do what they do. In fact, do the exact opposite. Look at them and say, I think I can do this. If they can do it, I think I can do it. Raise your hand if you see the difference in spirit in that kind of place. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And my only comment to say to that is kind of how I approach it. And it's just weird. Like, I think it really helps you actually accelerate your own game when you just don't put anybody on an unachievable pedestal. I mean, anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, freaking anybody. Like, does not matter who I'm meeting. It really doesn't. Like, whether I'm getting introduced to, Peter, who runs X Prize and is hanging out with Google and helped spawn the first ever private spacecraft, or I'm with freaking Branson and I'm asking him questions and blah, 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 blah. There's never been a sense in me, not ever, that anyone was on some sort of unachievable pedestal that I could not reach. I never once created this like distinction or this difference in myself and them as somehow we're different. We're all just human. That's the absolute truth. Every one of us is the exact same. We are just human beings. And I admire the amazing things that some of my friends and some of my mentors and some of my colleagues and some of my acquaintances, I admire the things they've done. I think it's incredible. I think their gifts are amazing. I love seeing their gifts in the world, and they are just human beings to me. That's all they will ever be. It does not matter if I'm shaking, Steve Forbes' hand or hanging with Branson or doing whatever. That is just a human being. It's just a human being. That's all. And that's what I am too. And it's, really having this outlook really helps me just be grounded with these people. I never put them on pedestals. And I know they feel that. They don't feel like, oh, this is just some, kid who, is looking at me this way, who wants to take from me or wants this or wants that. When I'm hanging out with them, I honestly don't care if I ever talk to them again. I'm not trying to get phone numbers. I'm not trying to get something from any of these leaders. I honestly don't care. And they can feel that, I don't care. Like, if a relationship naturally emerges, if I have value to offer them and they have value to offer me, and I really like connecting with them and they really like connecting with me, then that's great. Then a relationship emerges. But, I don't give my power away. And I think sometimes people give their power away. They think, oh, if I know this person or if I make this connection, that somehow I'm going to be more powerful and I'm going to get more money and you know what? It's true. When your powerful network expands, you are more powerful. But the secret is to never give your power away. You'll never get there if you're thinking it's going to come from them. That's not where it's going to come from. It's never going to come from them. The power is going to come from you. You're going to be the one to raise yourself up there. And that only happens when you stop giving your power away, period. Where you take full accountability for, you know what, even if I never get one damn successful person in the world to help me, that's not going to stop me. I'm still going to build this company. I'm still going to make this money. I'm still going to get here. And I don't care if one person ever helps me, because one day they're going to be asking me for help, because I'm going to build it all my damn self, and I'm going to build it bigger than they are. That's kind of my attitude.
I was going to say, is this the Jonathan Budd autobiography right now? Or
all I can do is share my experience, like how I notice these people showing up. That's my attitude. I don't care. Like, I'm gonna keep going forward, and I've got the only one I can truly depend on is myself. And lo and behold, you end up with a lot of amazing friends around you. And the truth is, none of us can do it ourselves. Nobody can do it themselves. We all need each other. We all need connections. We all need friends. We need community. We do. And we can't give our power away to that community. We've got to make sure that we're putting the onus on ourselves to be those leaders, and we're not giving our power. So.
I think a real, nuts and bolts case study scenario on I don't know, JB, if you mean exactly give your power in this way, but I think a good way to gauge it is if you go up to meet somebody that you really want to meet, like maybe you bought their product or you follow them or you watch their videos and you go up and you're excited to meet them and you perceive that they blow you off. Now, in reality, they might have had a promise that they have to get to within 2 minutes across the conference room, and they're just hustling to keep their integrity, and it has nothing to do with you. To give your power away would mean you go up and you want to introduce, and you got this window that you think is perfect to say hi, and they're off, and it feels like a blow off. And in that kind of case, you get depressed, or emotionally you lose heart, or you write them off as a jerk, or that's kind of a giving away of power instead of like emotional mastery and control, where if that window opens up and it's awesome, you don't go starry-eyed and have afterglow for the next 3 weeks because you're so excited because this person really acknowledged you. Just it's about, Jay, but I'm just wanting to give some real teeth.
You're hitting it, my friend. I think
we're talking about here.
The summation of it for me is that giving your power away is when you think you need someone or some connection or something in order to be successful, in order to do what you need to do, in order to accomplish your goal. You think you need someone or something else, and that somehow some powerful person is going to be able to provide that for you. That's giving your power away. Yeah, that's not true. You don't need.
There's a colleague in our world that he's mentioned to me over the last couple of years just a couple times a mutterance where, and this industry still doesn't respect what I do. And, like that kind of comment, it's just like, oh, gee, really? What are you looking for? What does that mean? What does that even mean? This industry doesn't respect. It means your products or services are subpar and they don't get raving fans. I don't know what it even meant. But that would be a case where that particular guy was giving basically his identification over to other people, instead of allowing to have that self-possession where, I work hard, people buy my stuff and they love it. Instead, he was going out kind of meandering. You guys raise your hand if you follow what we're tracking on this stuff. We want you to really, really become the very best, the emotionally solid and business-wise savvy people that all of us can possibly be. And the secret number 5 is to admire and respect and learn from leaders without don't have stars in your eyes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Secret number 6.
Boom. And we just honestly, my friends, we want my intention here is just to really have you embody, whatever value that we have, our experience, whatever we can share. It's for you to take from that and all of the mindsets and all of the perceptions and how you just approach networking and utilize what's valuable to you. And again, the disclaimer is like, if this works for you, great. If it doesn't, that's totally cool too. A lot of us are different. And what I like to share all the time is just that I can only teach you what works from my experience, and I'm useless to you if I'm not teaching you what works from my experience. So when I share my experiences with you, my experiences may or may not be really valuable to you. I hope they're really valuable, but since we're all very different, maybe some of them are, maybe some of them aren't. That's totally cool. The whole thing with learning from mentors, and especially as you get higher up the success ladder, it gets harder and harder and harder to find those missing pieces to your own success. Because if you've figured out a lot of things already, it's kind of like you're only now looking for like a small percentage of holes to fill in, right? You've got a few cracks that need to be filled in. You've filled in a lot of cracks. So you're literally looking for these little slivers that fill in those final missing pieces, these final missing cracks. And you need to go through a lot of mentoring, and you kind of got to go through a lot to fill in those pieces. When you're just starting out and it's like one giant big crater, it's really all the information is helpful. It's like, holy, that was amazing, that was amazing, that was amazing. You're filling in cracks everywhere. And as you fill in more and more and more cracks, you have to journey more to get the distinctions and distinguish those cracks. So hopefully that's helpful to you too. Secret number 6, choose your year's events wisely and attend all top events. Now I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, Mark, how many events have you been to this year?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, I don't have a single clue.
If I
I live
start
in
rattling them, if I start rattling them all off, okay, I was gone in January. In February, I was at the Elevation Group Mastermind, attending a really high-end mastermind on finance. In March, I was at the Internet Marketing, Yannick Silver's Underground Mastermind Summit. Right before that, I was at the Awesomeness Fest, a personal growth and development seminar. Right after that, I was at Network Marketing Pro. And after that, it's at the Nitrous and it's here. I mean, there's like I've probably been to at least 8 or 9 events this year. I was up in LA for one of Evan Pagan's events, T. Harv's events. I mean, it's like constantly attending events. Okay, now you don't need to attend that many events. I wasn't attending that many events when I started out, but what I want you to do is just see what all the top people are doing in the world. Because if you don't believe us when we tell you, hey, guess what? You need to be at events. It's kind of important. It's where you meet all your best business partners. It's where you make all your best connections. It's where you have all your deepest insights. It's where you grow the most. It's where you learn the most. If you don't believe the words we're saying, then just watch what we do. Watch our actions. Just look on Facebook of all the top people that you respect right now, who are the people you respect the most in the industry, and just go and look and see how many events they were at this year. Just look at their timeline of their photos. And what you're going to find is that all the top leaders attend tons of events. And all the top leaders never miss the top events. The top events, Mark, how would you describe what the top events in our industry are to our industry? It's almost like the annual, what would it be? Like the annual Christmas party at like the CEO of your company's house?
Yeah.
Like,
I'd liken it to, you want to talk about collapsing, opting out of the realities of normal life. Okay, and that's what you do when you become an internet, if you're going for it. Like, not everybody wants to go for it. You know what? Let's do this. Don't raise your hand until I phrase this, but if you really truly want the internet lifestyle, which really ultimately means freedom to fill in the blank, right? Like, you really want that. You want to earn the 6-7 figure income. You want to have automated incomes coming in. You want a worldwide network of friends and opportunity. Like, you really want to go for that kind of stuff. So we're getting, raise your hand if you're into that kind of thing. Okay. Well, we're getting good percentage here. I would liken it to this. When I worked in a normal job, I had an office job. And I remember me and one of my coworkers, we went on a subway to go visit somebody who was in the hospital together. And it was just outside of work, and we actually really bonded in that, just because it was outside of the typical office world, and our relationship was like cemented on this little trip to this hospital. Well, I'd liken these events to being so much more powerful than, you can like collapse a year's worth of knowing somebody into a weekend. And I'm not making that up. You hang out and you find a buddy. You make a couple new friends, and then you go out to eat, and then you maybe go on maybe a little ocean. Like, we're going to be in San Diego. Maybe you guys wake up at 7 and you go do a little run on the beach at Torrey Pines, or you do something. You will literally know that person in a weekend better than you know a traditional person at your office over the course of like 2 years. I mean, it's truly possible to collapse that kind of TAM and increase relationships. And that's, I think, the power of these live events is not just the actual event and the content, but it's the after parties, the pre-parties, the discussions where you're so focused with people that are so dialed in. And if they're not totally dialed in, they're there to get dialed in. And when you get that much gravity of clarity, you cannot help but really bond with people. It's just, this is why you have to be here. If you're not, you're in your hometown or you're in your suburb, you think and go, do you have 50, 100, 200? Do you have 1,000 people that have the intentions that you have around you in your local sphere? Highly unlikely. This is what these events do.
yeah, to me, it's akin to, my buddy who's in the geode business. He sells and makes jewelry and crystals, and every single year, in Tucson, Arizona, I think that's where it is, they have like the world's largest, geode conference, and it's like never in his freaking life would he even imagine missing that event, right? If you're in like the t-shirt business, like there's this event in Vegas every year where like all the new, you would never imagine miss. If you're in the advertising business, then you never miss. What's the big ad one? Ad tech. You never miss ad tech. Every person who's in advertising and nobody misses ad tech. And so if you're in this business, you do not miss the top events of the year. You just don't do it. You know, if you're in a network marketing company and you're a real player, would you miss your annual convention? You wouldn't miss your annual convention for the life of you. For the life of you. Everybody would be like, where the heck were you? So it's all a question of where you want to be. Do you want to be a player or do you want to be sitting on the sidelines? Because all the players are there. All the players are at events. And what you need to do is you need to choose your year's events wisely. So if you're on a budget or you need to figure stuff out or whatever it is, then what you want to do is literally schedule and choose in advance, okay, which events am I going to hit this year? And which are the ones where I'm going to make the most connections? What's got the information I need? What do I need the most? What am I feeling? Who am I most attracted to? Yada, yada, yada. And you pick your events for the year and attend them. You know, really schedule it out. Create an event calendar. It's super key. So secret number 7, your hygiene and fashion does actually matter. I'm not going to say it matters like a tremendous amount, but, you know, like if you're all up close to somebody and you're breathing all over them and your breath stinks, like that's not good. You know, yeah, people are going to be wanting to get away from you pretty fast. Like if you, you know, kind of in really, really, really run down clothes, you know, just it's the first impression thing. And again, I don't, you know, base a super amount on this, but I'll tell you right now, if I see somebody who is looking fashionable, they're looking sharp, they've got that presence that we were talking about. I mean, just look at, if you've ever been to an event with me, have I ever rolled into an event not looking kind of dope and really just, you know, present? I wouldn't even go. If I had something going on with me that was causing me to not be present, I would not be at that event. I only go to an event when I know that I can be my best self, and I go, you know, looking fly, because you want to stand out. You want to stick out. You want to make a first impression that's killer. You know, you that's what you want. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. You know, you want to feel like money. It should feel like money. Your clothes should feel like money. You should feel like money. Your smile should feel like money. I mean, when it feels like that and it's really backed up with authenticity and presence, that's when you make really powerful first impressions. And you know, you'll be a buzz.
Super practical, you know, action step on this one that would be probably pretty fun. But most of us have a friend that we would say, you know, she's super stylish or he's dialed in, but they're still in our comfort zone. Like sometimes fashion can just be way over the top or not our style. But most of us have a friend that's a couple notches just more on the trend than we are, and they get fashion, they get style. Raise your hand if you have one of those friends that is admirably fashionable in your sphere. Like I have, like literally the last time I went to Nordstrom's, I brought my guy friend who's like a couple notches a little more fashionable, and everything went through his filter. And he said, yep, nope, yep. And then he pushed me on a couple things. I'm like, nope, that's not me. That's not going to happen. So you still retain your own self. But here's a super practical thing. Ask that friend, hey, would you go shopping with me and just kind of fly me out a little bit? You know, just want a little upgrade. And it'll be fun, and they'll be flattered, and that's what I'm just telling you. That's what I do, and I know Jay Bud, you kind of have some informants on how you dress as well on these kind of things.
Oh, I literally do most of my fashion and shopping around events. Like it's kind of like the fun time. Like I don't buy clothes really otherwise unless I'm going somewhere. Like, but it's fun because you should use the event you go to as kind of the time when you treat yourself. It's like you go and you get a new suit and you get not a suit, but like you get a new You get a new what the hell is the word I'm looking for? You floss yourself out. You get a new outfit. You go and you pick out a solid new outfit. Like you pick out a solid new shirt. Like you get some popping new hat. Like when I got events coming up, that's when I usually actually go pick out my new gear. And I make sure it's always flossing. And it makes a big difference. I'm telling you, it's all the brand that you're crafting. It's your first impression. It's your meeting of people. And I have fun with it. Fashion to me is it's a creative outlet. And there's always ways to express ourselves creatively. And when we like how we look, we feel better. That's the other thing is if you like how you look. And a lot of people, like my father cracks me up because he does not care at all how he looks. You know what I mean? Like he buys all of his jeans at Costco and he's pissed if he pays more than $15. He's got the most normal shorts and I love my father to death. And guess what? He's not a top income earner in any industry. I love him to death. And, that's not his deal, but he's not building a network. He's not doing nothing like that. That's not his deal, okay? And I don't want to say much more about my Pop Dukes because I love my Pop Dukes so much, but I hardly expect him to ever be a top income earner in anything. So if you're thinking to yourself right now, like, I want to be that guy, like, okay, well then just, have fun, like, doing whatever you're doing, because if you want to break out and you want to make an impact and you want to build a badass network, then have some fun, get fashionable, express yourself, be unique, stand out.
I got so much to say on this.
Are you still laughing?
I'm laughing about everything. I'm laughing mainly about how your dad is not going to be a top income earner online, and he's not building a network, and that's really the key. I say this on almost every product I sell. I say, and ironically, I'm referring to the aunt that wants to come to this Unstoppable Millionaire. But when I'm selling something, I'll say, you know what? This isn't for everybody. My aunt isn't an online marketer. She doesn't care. She's not thinking about it. She's not scheming on how to quit her job so she can go travel here and do that and have friends all over the country. That's not on her conscious mind. So this isn't for her. But if you want this is kind of how it's done, and we can share our experience on how you get it done. It's fashion and hygiene are just huge. So bear that in mind. Go find your hipster friend and have him take you out and spend some cash.
Just go have fun. Have fun with your wife. Have fun with your hipster friend. Just say, hey, you know what? I want to get something new, and just have fun with it. It's fun. That's the whole point. So secret number 8, become a fierce collector of business cards. This is pretty straightforward, but get data on people, right? Say, hey, you got a card? Boom, boom, boom. I save every business card because I don't know what I'm going to do with them one day. One day, maybe I'll call every one of those people, hey, I got a new deal. And I'll call every one of those people, and they won't even remember me for crap, but I'll be like, hey, we met at X whatever event. Somehow I got your business card, and I just reaching out, catching up, how's things, blah, blah, blah. But become a fierce collector of business cards because in a way that is your database. And maybe you don't follow up with all those people. You're really looking for 2 to 5 key cornerstone relationships out of every event. And relationships take energy. That's the thing. Like, you got to pick your relationships wisely because if you really want to go deep with people, they take energy. So a lot of times, it stinks. Like, I'd love to go tremendously deep with everyone, and that's not humanly possible. And I have a ton of friends, an absolute ton of friends that I would love to know more about, but sometimes I honestly don't, get closer because I know that I don't have the space and I don't have the energy right now in my life to really even go deep. So it's just not a possibility. So unfortunately, I don't get closer. So you got to pick wisely, who you go deep with, and I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but become a fierce collector of business cards no matter what, because one day you may call every one of those people, just like me. I imagine you got nothing more to say there, Mr. Hoverson, by your giggle in the background.
I might get business cards for this event, actually. I'm thinking about it. It's a good idea. Actually, you know what I just thought? I thought how many I get handed. I haven't done anything with them, but my value out of this is I just thought I'm going to collect all of them this time. and I'm going to request them too when I meet people, and then I'm going to have my assistant just give a shout out saying it was great that I was able to meet him, because I won't have time to, and it's just poor stewardship for me to just randomly contact people right now. But for an assistant to call and just say, "Hey, this is Mark's assistant," he wanted to let me,
that's a good idea.
Great to meet him, and that's a good that's a touch, and it is an exertion of energy. So I got value. Raise your hand if that's some value. If you're getting value out of this stuff, that was my takeaway of this. The big takeaway for me. I'm pumped.
That is the good touch right there. So that's a good idea, because they'll always remember you after that. Okay, so here's a true story, right? To demonstrate secret number 9. I can't even really describe. It's tough to describe what kind of happens at these events. But when I was living in my parents' basement, just graduated college, struggling like you would not believe, just, in that total state of, I don't know if this is ever going to work, because nothing I've ever tried ever has. My upline is calling me and urging me to get to this national convention for my Pharmanex business, which was the company I was in at the time. And I'm like, are you kidding me? $550 just for a plane. I had a relative who I, could stay with out there. So I was like, well, at least I wouldn't have to pay for the hotel. But $550 just to get out there on the plane was like a serious, that makes absolutely no sense. What could I possibly get at this event? What could possibly happen that would justify that? And plus it was $200 for the ticket. And, that's cheap. But it's just one of those network marketing company conventions. So anyways, at the last minute, for some reason, I just had this intuition that I should go. I'd never been before. It wasn't even like my uplines were really very good at selling me on it. It was just that I had this intuition that, you know what, I've never experienced this. There might be something here for me. I just had the intuition that I should go. I should really go see what this is all about. If I'm serious about this, I'm going. Screw it. That was my attitude. It was literally like a screw it. I'm going. And I go, and, it's not even like network marketing company conventions are even close to what Unstoppable is. I mean, Unstoppable is like the most crafted, experiential, empowering, educating, freaking ridiculously motivating event that is designed to change your life. I mean, at its core, it's designed to have your life take a shift in its entire direction. Network marketing company conventions are not like that. You show up and they got 3 guys that they paid $25K. John Maxwell comes out and says, swing the bat. You know what I mean? It's like big freaking deal. But for some reason, that event just did something to me. It was like just seeing 2,000, 3,000 other people there, watching all the people walk across the stage, meeting Nathan Ricks, who at that time was like, I'd never known or heard of anyone making $250,000 a month, and I got to meet Nathan Ricks and shake his hand, and I got to say, hey, man, I'm going to do this, and he looks at me and he says, yeah, you are, and he just says, yeah, you are, with his belief, you know what I mean? Coming from a man, I'm shaking the hand of a man earning $300,000 a month. I don't know what happened to me, but something happened to me. And I got on the phone. I remember I called this prospect that I was terrified to call. I was terrified because this girl was beautiful. She was smart. She was sexy. She's attractive. A lot of people like her and know her. I don't even know how I had her phone number. But I have her phone number, and I'm terrified to call this girl. And I call her up, and I leave this message because I didn't get her phone. And I leave this message, and I'm like, Jen, we need to talk. I've got something super amazing that I want to share with you. It's incredible. I'm at this convention right now out here. When can we talk? I'd love to share with you about it. Hope you're having an amazing day. I am blah, blah, blah. And she calls me back, and she was like, I don't know what you're doing or whatever, but that was the most real and energetic voicemail that I've ever gotten in my life. That was exactly what she said to me that I've ever gotten in my life. And, I just wanted to call you back. And we talked for like 20, 25 minutes, and we set up a time to meet. Unfortunately, I was already away from school, so it was just a phone deal. And I was like, holy crap, how did that even happen? How did I even get that person to call me back? Like, she never called me back. Like, she blew me off like 3 times before that if I just saw her in like the hallway or whatever. So I don't know what the heck happened to me at that event, but something became so much more real for me and so much more powerful. And I just did things that I was afraid to do before, and it just did not matter. And I went back and I just crushed it. I mean, I poured so much energy into my business, and I started to see things happen, and I just, it's weird what happens to you at events. And that's just the first ever story of me attending an event. I could tell you another story where when I went to one of my first ever really, really significant marketing investments, I invested $6,000 to be at this event. It was when Eben Pagan first rolled out his, marketing mastery program or whatever the heck it was. And I invested $6,000 to be at his event. And that caused a complete change in the direction of my business, a complete change. It was like being there live and in person, meeting him, learning from him in person. I decided, you know what, I'm really going to commit to this marketing thing. And that was at a point where I was back and forth. Did I want to do just network marketing? Did I want to actually be my own trainer and coach? And I had 2 network marketing businesses going, and I was trying to decide, do I want to go full-time in this, or do I want to go and really develop and build my own training company? And I decided I'm going to build my own training company. And that was the best damn move I ever made, because now, Jesus, I've created a humongous brand. I make way more money. It's just a lot more fun. And, I made that decision again at an event. So again, my friends, I just got to tell you, the most meaningful and real motivation that you will get to grow your business comes from events. And there's just been distinctive moments in my life where they've shaped everything. So I know Mark has nothing else to say about this. So being surrounded by leaders, developing relationships with the community, and seeing so many real people making lots of money is when it actually becomes real for you. Anything else you want to add there, buddy?
No, I don't. Every time I get a big jolt forward, literally every event, every single event, I get a jolt forward. And if you look at the people that go into hyper growth mode, it's a science, everybody. They attend events and they get these jolt moves forward. I'm going to put my last little bow tie on that last secret is a guy made a Facebook post. This was like a year and a half ago, or it was a blog post or something. And he was like, Mark Overson says to attend events no matter what, but I disagree. If you're struggling with finances, you should put that money into buying marketing instead of attending live events. And here's this joker's making nothing, right? And basically he was just trending off my name, so I give him credit on that, I guess. But the gist of it was the relationship you make at an event is worth the expense so much more than another $200 on Facebook pay-per-click. I mean, it's comical to even compare the two, or to even put a juxtaposition between the two. If it's possible to come to the live events, you come to the live events. That's it. If it's possible. And then you dictate the level of possibility by your resourcefulness. So when people say they can't do things, I don't care what it is. It just goes to show that they're stoppable. And then they disqualify themselves for everything that they want. And so these are deep thoughts by Jack Handey here, but you better move on, Jay Bud.
Yep. So, secret number 10, be curious about other people, be open, not closed. And I think the listening secret speaks to the beginning part of this, but the second part of it, it's really a call to open up more, okay? A lot of times what just murders us when it comes to really building a network is our rigid belief systems and judgments about other people. So if you're kind of like, really fundamentalist about anything, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be very difficult unless you have a really large fundamentalist, community to network in. It's going to be really difficult to extend beyond that, because the world nowadays is so unbelievably diverse. I mean, I just think about the range of friends I have, and the range of belief systems and the range of jobs and businesses and things that everybody does, it is absolutely every end of the spectrum. And what I've learned is that, because I used to have all these harsh judgments about who I wanted to hang out with and who I didn't want to hang out with and who I respected and who was right and who was wrong and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I just let go of all of that crap, because that's really what it is. It's all just barriers that keep you from really connecting with other human beings. And now everyone is just a human being to me, just like I am. I'm a human being, you're a human being, and the point of our connection is that we're human beings. It's not that you're right and I'm left or blah, blah, blah. It's not, I don't care about any of that. It's that you're a human being and I'm a human being, so I'm open to just right from the start. And that's really, become a central principle in my life. And it's how I have so many friends and so many connections across so many different things. It's that I don't, close, doors unless people give me a reason to. Unless somebody's a jerk, unless somebody is disrespectful, unless somebody is just showing that they're a bad human being and I should not be around them, then I don't close doors on them. Vice versa, you can have any type of belief system you want in the world, and I totally accept it, as long as you're being a good, nice, friendly, caring, open, honest human being, whatever it is. I'll accept whatever your belief system is. So, my encouragement for you is that to open yourself up more. When you see people that are very different than you, you never know that connection may have a lot of value for you. You may get a tremendous amount of value from that connection. And, when we choose to be open and not closed, it really broadens our network in life. It really broadens our possibilities in life. And it's totally a way that I live, in a way that really helps me meet and create amazing relationships with lots of people. Mark, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think the key is, what we're definitely not saying is, don't have, if you have super strong beliefs, that's great. Don't have them be a barrier to friendships. That's really the key. Don't have them be a barrier to, and Jonathan, you exemplify this as well as anybody I've met, where you are open to people. You are open to basically honoring them. And so I would say, if you have strong beliefs, have those beliefs all day long. And maybe you would never get a eyebrow tattoo in your life. So when you see somebody with an eyebrow tattoo, they're out in your mind. They're gone. That's what we're saying. Don't be that. That I used to be like that. I look at my own self and just mock myself. But you basically don't want barriers to have this nice connection. And that's the curiosity with questions. Be a listener. Open.
And remove the barriers between you and other people. Oh, this is an interesting distinction too. When you're being curious, when you're asking questions, don't do it from that sort of like interrogator voice. Like, a lot of times, if people are really nervous about being in social situations, they'll start to interrogate other people almost, where it's like, so where are you from? What do you do? How many kids you got? Where do you grow up? It's like, hey, whoa, buddy, what are you doing? Are you investigating me like you're the FBI? Like, come down. You don't want to have that feeling and sound. You kind of just want to be like, oh, that's awesome. So how about you? Where'd you grow up? So, hey, what do you do for a living? You don't want to feel like the interrogator. You want to feel like the curious friend. So that's just the distinction. If you find yourself interrogating, or you're around interrogators, you'll probably recognize it a lot more now.
Yeah. And here's a real great secret on the curiosity, just kind of a question that's it's good to say, where are you from, how you got kids, are you married, how long you been in the industry, and those are just stale. They're kind of, you might have great intention behind them, but they are inherently dry and boring. Good questions are like, hey, so, what's the story of what brought you here? How did you connect to this whole thing? And then you'll see them lean forward, their eyes will open up, and they say, you wouldn't believe it. I met my buddy who does this, and then I clicked on this ad, and he said, you got to watch this webinar or whatever. Then it's an interesting question. So be curious beyond the stale data of life. Get into the story. That's where people really open up. Secret
number 11, don't look at people like they're a commodity. I think we've kind of been touching upon the humanness of everything. So it's just really getting back into that. If you've commodified relationships, and I know people like that, and I'll tell you, it is a massive turnoff. I do not do business with those people. If I know somebody's coming up to me and they're just like, all they're doing is relationships are a commodity to them. They're just like, yeah. So here's the numbers of our list, and here's what we could do for you. What could you do for us? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, get away from me, buddy. I have no desire to work with you whatsoever. I'm never going to promote you or send my people to you ever. Like, I would never entrust you to them. And people, people are like that. And it's amazing that as many people are like that who have, figured out how to make some money. But I'll tell you right now, really high level networking and just really high level relationship building, I don't look at anybody like they're a commodity. Even people who I know with the flick of their finger could make me famous, could make me millions, could whatever, introduce me to capital, or they're still not a commodity to me. Even though they have so much value to offer me, if they really wanted to, I still don't look at those people like a commodity. Unless there's a real basis for our relationship, unless we like each other, or I like them, or they like me, or I have value to offer them, or we get along, or there's a good reason for us to talk, like a good joint venture where I could really offer a lot of value. Unless there's a natural reason for our relationship to exist, then I don't force it, and I don't, approach people like that. Hey, here's how, you could help me and how I could help you. It's just a commodity. So that's just a brief, again, a teaching that I think will just help you. It certainly is certainly how I live my life when it comes to networking. So anything you want to add to that, Mark?
Don't do it. Well, a commodity, no, just don't do it, people. Don't do it. A commodity by its nature is a commodity is like corn or salt, or it's very inhumane, and humans just don't deserve to be commodified, period. So
yeah, watch yourself if you're doing it, because we all do it sometimes. This kind of hits that point too. If you don't like someone or vibe with them, sometimes I notice people feel like they have to know, oh, I want to go meet this person or that person, or I've got to try to get everybody's business card or whatever. And my approach is not that way. I'm actually quite selective about who I want to be in a relationship with, who's in my network. Even if they're top dogs, I'm very selective about just the energy of the people. And I always honor my integrity and my authenticity. And I only look to create relationships with people that I actively want to work with because I like them. So I think if you live from that place, you'll notice that you have way better posture in all of your networking, because you're not like taking that needing place. Like, you'll just have way better posture in all your networking if you live from secret number 12 and just kind of live.
And this is more of a life, this is more about life, because if you end up like JB and I, we look at different opportunities and things and opportunities, and a lot of times we'll ask on a couple specific conversations, we go, do we really like those people? Then that's the ultimate deal breaker or deal maker. Like, do I like that person? And I was at one of the events in the last half a year, and a guy came up to me, and he was commodifying me 100%. He saw access to rabid buyers who have the trust of me as the list owner, and he saw a big opportunity for himself. And then I actually mirrored it back, and I thought, well, he's not in our niche. He could introduce me to the Dan Kennedy circles, and it'd be a good. So I started kind of commodifying him in my mind as well. And at the end, like literally by the end of a 10-minute conversation, I'm like, I just don't like this guy. So it doesn't matter. I'm just not doing it. I'm just done. It's over. Just because here's the thing. Even if you do make a ton of money and you don't like you got to get to a point and have a standard in your life. This might even be worth jotting down or like tattooing on your chest or something. You should be liking every single thing you're involved with from the moment you open your eyes till the next day when you open your eyes again. If you don't like it, it should be altered. Period. Everything. how you feel, how you look, the bed you're sleeping in, the people you're with, the people you're working with, everything. I mean, literally, you make that your standard, and life becomes very likable.
That's awesome. Secret number 13, the real value of relationships, my friends, is in the long term. Yes. Oh my goodness, that's somebody yelling at me from outside my house. Okay, the real value of relationships is in the long term. Don't try to force promotions, JVs, or recruiting. Be willing to relate for years and let natural business partnerships unfold. So again, I can't tell you how many times this has played out so amazing for me, where I probably could have messed up tons of amazing, powerful relationships when I met a really powerful or really cool person by trying to instantly commodify it, right? Try to instantly get some value out of it, get some money, get them in my business, get them to send a promotion or a listing or this or that or whatever. And because I didn't do that, because I wasn't like, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And I just allowed the relationship to build, and I allowed the relationship to just unfold naturally. All of a sudden, a year later, 18 months later, when it makes sense for somebody to send a promotion or do a mailing, it happens. And boom, instantly, $20,000 is made, or this happens, or that happens. So, I really want you guys to just think long term in everything you're doing. Be willing to relate for years, if that's, what it takes, and let natural business partnerships unfold. And that's always the approach I've taken. And it's proven to pay off, massively, massively, massively pay off, where I can honestly say I love the relationships that I have in the industry, and I love the relationships I have all over the place. And they all feel really strong and solid and based in a real understanding of each other and a foundation, and it's not all shaky. So, be willing to relate for years and let natural business partnerships unfold, and make sure you're always focusing on the long term. Mark, you want to add anything here?
No, sir.
Bonus secret. I bet you guys and gals didn't think we were going to start busting out bonus secrets, did you? But that's how we roll. We're busting out bonus secrets. Okay, my friends, so check it out. Bonus secret number 14. You've got to surround yourself with the energy of success to succeed. And I think the story that I told you about why it was so powerful for me to go to this event, I think it's just because I surrounded myself with the energy of success. It was like drinking from a golden goblet when I had been, wandering around the freaking desert, slamming my face into cactuses, trying to get some drops of water out of them. And all of a sudden, I'm in a place where everywhere I look, people are earning $50,000 a month, $100,000, $200,000. I've got the most coolest, amazing people that I've ever met all over the place. And it was like all of a sudden I was immersed in this energy of success. And we don't understand a lot of times that we need this energy to succeed. We need it. We need it. It's so vital to us to be infused and empowered by and surrounded by the energy of success. It lifts you up, right? The sum total of your 5 closest people lifts you up. If you're in the energy of success, it's going to cause you to elevate. It's going to raise you. So you've got to surround yourself with the energy of success to succeed. It's again another one of the reasons why I say, attend the top events. Meet and shake the hands of all of the people that you respect and you're learning from and you admire, and get a photo with them, and just put yourself in that environment, and it's going to continue to elevate you. It's going to continue to cause your energy to go higher and higher and higher. Mark, what do you want to say about this before we move on?
It's the only thing. It's just about, that's it. It's about getting around people. It's literally like weather. Most of us build, or at least start, our internet business in the cold, wintry gusts of the normal world, which are JOBers, very little vision. Football's on Sunday, so they're good. And that weather, that psychic weather of the common world, you're not going to be able to succeed yourself out of that without getting around new weather. That's what energy is. So you get a handful of people that are dialed in for a week, you know, that's it.
Succeed yourself out of that. That's awesome. You're not going to be able to succeed yourself out of that. You've got to. All right. So just seriously, in the spirit of Unstoppable, right? Just as an example, all of the most successful people in the industry are at this event. Okay. All of them. Go shake their hands. Feel the realness of success. Ask them a question when you're talking at the bar, whatever it is. Get empowered with their energy. Get more motivated. It's seriously the secret for how you keep going and make it happen in this industry. So take that to heart. Bonus secret number 15. We are laying out bonus secrets, my friends. Laying them out. Look for all the ways that you can add value to a key person's life that you want a relationship with first. Okay? So if you know that you want a relationship with somebody, right? Again, I'll give you my example. When I was just young, up-and-coming pup, Jonathan Budd, get the mic back there. When I was young, up-and-coming pup, you know, I hadn't really done anything big or this or that, and I was at this Eben Pagan seminar, and I see Eben. It's in the middle of one of the breaks, and I go up to him, and, you know, he's surrounded by people, yada, 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 all this stuff, but I go up to him, and I say, hey, Eben, you know, I cut in there in between the deal, and I say, hey, buddy, you know, real quick, I just wanted to actually, you know, contribute something. I've got this really cool YouTube strategy. We're doing a bunch of amazing stuff right now. I'm getting, you know, 50 leads a day off this strategy, blah, 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 blah. You know, I noticed you don't have anything like it in the back office for Guru Mastermind. You know, who would I talk to if I wanted to, you know, make a training for the group and just add some value and hook everybody up and whatever? And he's like, oh, really cool, dude. You know, go talk to Megan back there, you know, get her business card and let's connect. And Megan's like, their affiliate manager, blah, 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 blah. Tell her I sent you. So I was like, all right, cool, man. Check you later. That was it. I was out of there. I went. I got Megan's business card. I'm in the door. In the door. So, you know, that's just one example. I could give you way more examples of all the ways that I've looked for how I can personally add value to a key person's life that I want a relationship with first. But I'm telling you, this is how you do it. It's crazy to me when people approach me and they're like, hey, can you send an email for my product or this or that? And I'm thinking to myself, seriously? You're even asking me that right now? Let's see. You know, I have a list that is of tremendous value that I've spent the last 6 years of my life working and striving and slaving for in some cases. I've spent $9 million on operations and advertising in my companies just to figure out how to make this freaking money. And I should just, you know, for absolutely no reason, you know, spend all of my value and all of my opportunity to create value and take from my list by sending for your stuff. Like, really? Did you even ask that? And to other people, though, they don't understand how absurd that is. They don't understand the complete absurdity of what it feels like to be the other person on the other end of that equation, where it's like, this person seriously, you know, just doesn't get it. And when people come to me, I instantly knock that up, like, okay, here's another person who does not get how the game works, okay? I've never once in my life gone to a person who has a bigger list than me, who's got more value they could add to a promotion than me, whatever, and without having tried to give them value first, ask them for value in return. It just doesn't work that way. I always try to be the one to create value and give value first, and once I've done that in a relationship, you know, then it makes sense for there to ever be reciprocity or even a relationship established. So is that clear, my friends? Because that's a huge, huge, huge distinction. Neat. Really, really.
I'll tell you a great example, JB, just recently at your mastermind, a kind of up-and-coming internet marketer. All he did was he tapped into a passion project of mine, one of my products, and he said, I will wrap every ounce that I have around promoting this to my people because I know they're going to love it for like 2 straight weeks. We'll launch it. I'll hit it. I'll follow it up. I will do all the work. And he went absolutely crazy. Now it worked and he's making money, but had he came up and said, "Hey, Mark, I got some products you want to mail to your list," I'd be like, "Are you same thing?"
But
But here
now
I
he
got
has a
some
relationship with does he or does he not have a phone? He could probably call you whenever he wants now, couldn't he?
text me. We text like 3-4 times a day,
Boom. That's
and
what
it
it's
would
about,
work.
my friends. The
Yeah.
relationship. He built that relationship by offering value, and maybe he did it consciously, maybe he didn't. But that's what the master networkers do.
hmm I mean, so if you have somebody that you want, like if you want a client, and the old me, JB, the old me, the one that qualified for welfare would listen to these exact words and go, well, if he was a really legitimate person, they'd just be a friend anyway. I was just such a loser back then. But the gist of it is, there's reciprocity systems and just weaved into the fabric of reality. So if you really want to connect with somebody, I know a lot of my best relationships. Well, our video guy, Joey, he came up to me at a live event and he said, "I'll do a branding video for you for free. I have my work in Best Buy. I will do it 100% for free." I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And that launched like the first branding video in our niche. And what it did was it hooked him up with you, J Bud, and Dagan, and everybody. And he's had steady work for like 3 years because he came with 100%. I'll do it for free. How
Yeah,
can I
no,
help you?
he's probably made $200,000, 200,000. I would say is low for
Well, yeah,
possibly
I
what
mean,
he's made because of that one key value add, right back then. So
yeah.
amazing. Bonus secret number 16, people. They just keep coming. When are we going to stop giving you bonus secrets? Be at the after parties, okay? All sorts of real connecting with top affiliates, leaders, and players happens at the bar. It happens at the parties. It happens in private rooms. You want to make friends and you want to be there. And you got to be willing to play the game a little bit in that sense. Like, a lot of times, like, I'm not like a big partier sometimes. I just kind of want to hang low or I just want to rest or rejuvenate. Maybe I want to meditate. I'm weird like that. But I know that where a lot of the real connections happen and a lot of real opportunity to go deeper in relationships and have conversations and all these things, it happens at the after parties. It happens on the exterior of the event, right? It's all the conversations happening everywhere else. And so you want to get yourself into those conversations and you want to put some effort into being there and you want to show up and you want to have a good time and you want to apply all these distinctions that we taught you tonight. Because these distinctions, if you apply them in these other settings, in fact, in any setting you go in, it doesn't matter what you're doing in life. If you use these distinctions, it's going to make you a way more powerful relator. At the end of the day, you're just going to be better at relating. You're going to be better at building relationships, period.
Yeah.
And
really,
this is a huge one.
well, this is so huge. Really be open to stretch your physical normalcy. Like if you normally go to bed at 10 o'clock Eastern and you're on the West Coast and now it's 8 o'clock, which is 11 o'clock your time, and you're feeling a little drowsy. Well, suck it up, my friends. It's a 3-day event. We were out in Vegas. It was me, Michelle Pesco-Solido, Bill, Todd Falcone, and a cool, a couple cool guys, newbies. They were brand new, happened to be, and I'm not even making this up. We were eating sushi yet again, my third sushi meal reference. But we were eating sushi, and we're gonna go out and have a drink, and it was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And these two guys go, "Yeah, we're gonna head back to the hotel and get a good night's sleep so we can really be there for the information tomorrow." And they left, and I was like, "Okay, just little fact check here, everybody. Those guys just walked away from the most valuable hour they could possibly have this weekend." We were all right there, but so it's not that you say, well, they should. It was just like so naive and short-sighted for them to go to bed when they're with leaders directly right there at a table. It was madness to me. But the gist of it is, if you have a chance to be with someone and meet someone and glean from someone and sow into someone, do it. And then also get your butt out of bed and get to the content and suck it up. I mean, that's what I think the big thing is here, just physically. A lot of us just have normal routines. We live in those routines like 350 days a year. But when you're at a 3-day conference, you don't even need to sleep for 3 days if it doesn't have to. I mean, I'm serious. Come prepared to be flexible. I'm done, JB.
That's it, my friends. So check it out. We load on the value, and we're going to keep loading on the value, because the truth of the matter is that Unstoppable 2, which is happening November 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th in San Diego, is probably going to be one of the best events that's ever taken place in this industry, period. I mean, absolutely, without a doubt, period. This will be one of the best events that's ever taken place. And I could go on and on and on about why that is, but I'll just tell you right off the bat, from what I know about who's going to be there, from what I know about what we're bringing to the table, okay, what I know about Unstoppable 1, the first Unstoppable. Look, we had almost 800 people go through Unstoppable 1, and my event manager, the guy who produces all my events, used to be Tony Robbins' business partner. And when we had our feedback forms submitted, okay, we had over 600 people submit their feedback form for the event. He said he's never in his life seen feedback like that on an event, first time out. 9s and 10s, 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 9s and 10s. The people who are at Unstoppable 1, the first Unstoppable, you know what I'm talking about. You know what we created at that event. You know what the space was like. You know how deep you went. You know how deep. You know what the experience was. And it's magical. I don't really have another way to explain it other than you will open your heart, you will open your mind, you will dig deeper into yourself, you will feel more love, you will get more connected to people than you possibly have ever been. And if you watch the video that I shared with everybody today, the video that's on the Unstoppable page, it does a little bit of justice, but it doesn't even really do justice. The thing is that this one, we've actually added on an entirely new day. Okay, so we've extended the event by 33%. We're infusing not just the Unstoppable curriculum, where I'm going to bring you all through some of the most fun and amazing experiences and really transformational opportunities to cause a shift in the direction of your life that anyone's really teaching out there right now. And not only that, but we're going to include the money-making millionaire coaching of marketing. So we've got 5 of the top marketers in our industry, pretty much the 5 top marketers in our industry, who are all going to be teaching in addition to everything that was included in the original Unstoppable curriculum, and we're finishing it off on day 4. So this is a 4-day event. We're finishing off on day 4 with a bonus event called Awaken the Dreamer, Change the Dream, which will be led by one of my greatest living mentors, a woman named Lynn Twist, who I seriously cannot even begin to profound what this woman means to me. I mean, she means so much to me and teaches me so much and guides me and mentors me so much that for her to be coming down and personally teaching this 4th day and bringing you all through the Awaken the Dreamer, Change the Dream experience, which was one of the most powerful, pivotal moments in my life. I made decisions at that event that have altered the course of my life, and it's just so beautiful. And to have all of this combined in one event is just seriously unprecedented. And I'm telling you right now, it will be one of the most impactful events you've ever attended, and I can guarantee that. And, it was for you, not me. So this is the preeminent marketing and empowerment experience for home-based business entrepreneurs, period. There's no other event like Unstoppable in our industry. None. We combine all of these experiential learning modalities with marketing training and a complete empowerment experience. It will rock, absolutely rock your world. That's what it's designed to do, my friends. I'll give you the top 5 reasons that you need to attend Unstoppable Entrepreneur. Well, number 1 is we haven't done it in 18 months, okay? I don't know if I'll do it again. This is Unstoppable 2012. Okay, you want to talk about an epic year where the world is changing, where things are happening. To say that you were at Unstoppable 2012 will be a legacy moment. Just so you know, FYI, when you see the videos, when you see everything that comes out of this event, this is going to be a legacy event. Unstoppable 2012 is a hallmark moment that you want to have. So here's the top 5 reasons in addition to that. This is the most experiential event in our industry. Okay, we don't just get up there. You're not learning from a PowerPoint, FYI. This is meant to rock your mind, your body, your heart, and your soul. It's the most experiential event in our industry. Number 2, you're going to network with over 1,000 other like-minded individuals at one of the largest events to take place all year. Okay, we're not just talking about the online marketing industry. We're talking about in the world. 1,000 people to come together like this, dedicated to personal transformation and to business success and to marketing mastery, is one of the most unique experiences in the world. There's not many things that you have the chance to experience like this. Get the absolute best warrior and success training in the industry from the most successful people. Okay, the most successful people in the industry are who's training and teaching this event. And we focus on showing you how to become a warrior, how to become absolutely unstoppable, as well as empower you with all of the actual training. What is the marketing magic that's going to help take your business to the next year? Including me personally, this is the only time that I train this modality all year. So if you want any shot, if you've ever been to an event with me, you know that I bring it. I bring the heat. I bring my heart. I bring my soul. I bring all my energy. And I've got a lot of all those things. And I only train once a year in this modality, and it's Unstoppable 2012. I have not done another training like this in over 14 months. So you just do not have the opportunity to experience this a lot at all. I mean, this is not the type of thing like, oh, you know what? I'll do that again 2 years from now, 3. Are you kidding me? The amount of growth, the amount of success, the amount of magic that you could create in your life from Unstoppable 2012 until next year is insane. You could shift the entire direction in your life. Why would you put that off? It just doesn't make sense. This is the first time this event's been produced in 18 months after getting some of the most powerful reviews in the industry, and it may not be produced in this fashion again. There's no plan for another Unstoppable. So I may do it at some point. I may, but at this point, you know, without me sharing all the directions I'm being pulled in, which is a lot, you know, I'm heading into some brand new industries and some brand new directions, and this is really the passion, the heart, the soul of all of really my work, and I don't know what it's going to look like in the future. So if you want to experience it, you kind of got to live in the moment. Choose to create a breakthrough moment in every aspect of your life. This is your chance to break through mental barriers, emotional barriers, spiritual barriers, and marketing barriers. You can make this event your breakthrough moment, and we're going to walk you through the entire thing. When you come to Unstoppable, you let go. You let go, and you get in. You let the experience guide you, and you let go of everything else, and what your job is to bring 110% of your commitment to your future, to your vision, to your goals. That's your job. You bring 110% of your commitment and your energy, and you bring that to this room, and you bring that to the fellow people who will be in this room with you, and that is your job. And you let the event do everything else. Okay, you let go, and you just sink into this experience. And when you commit to having a breakthrough, I promise you, you will have it. You will break through what that thing is that's currently stopping you. So, the Unstoppable registration discount period is October 1st through October 8th. Okay, the discounted tuition is $497. Now, after October 8th, we're raising the price to $697. So it's already October 3rd. You've essentially got a few more days to get the discounted tuition before the price break ends, and you have to pay $697. Okay? This equals one Unstoppable Entrepreneur ticket So we do have discounts available for partner tickets. So if you want to bring your partner, you can submit a support ticket with our customer service, and we have discounted tickets available, so you won't have to pay $497 again, and you can bring your partner. So here's where you go to get your ticket, futuristicmarketing.com/unstoppable2012. So take this down. It's futuristicmarketing.com/unstoppable2012. The clock is ticking. Here's the price increase dates. October 9th, the price increases to $697. November 1st, we increase the price to $997. So if you literally want to get a 50% discount on what it's going to be November 1st, then order your ticket right now. Booking your ticket now is the best possible way to get a discount. The event information will be sent to you immediately after you purchase. So immediately after you purchase your ticket tonight, if you want to do it tonight, which I recommend you do, don't put this off. When you commit to creating a breakthrough moment in your life, commit to it. Don't put it off. Do it right now. Show up right now. Make the choice right now. And you'll already start to feel the momentum of this event and the spirit of this event work on you. Okay? Now, as soon as you place your order for your ticket, you're going to get all the information for where to, book your hotel and all the other details and everything. There's a whole event page that's going to give you all the details on the event. And as I already mentioned, the special bonus event is the Awaken the Dreamer, Change the Dream Symposium with Lynn Twist. And Lynn has agreed to come down personally herself and teach this event. Now, Lynn is one of my greatest living personal mentors. She's the author of the best-selling book, The Soul of Money. So, New York Times best-selling book. She's one of the most well-connected people I've ever met in my life. She's a global speaker. She's a world-renowned activist and fundraiser. She's raised over $150 million in her career for different things. Lynn Twist and this event are absolutely life-changing, and I credit a huge portion of my personal happiness, fulfillment, and my capacity to care for our world in a deeper way to this special bonus event that we're going to be putting on at Unstoppable 2. So, my friends, take action now. You create your fate. This event is going to help you create it, okay? So I'm going to type the link here, www.futuristicmarketing.com/unstoppable2012. So check your question box for the link. That should have just went out as a send to all of you. But seriously, my friends, I'm telling you right now, if you commit yourself to being at this event and you show up and you give it your all, you will create a shift in your life that completely changes things. I absolutely know it to be true. And everything we've shared with you tonight is the truth. It's reality. You will be surrounded by success on a whole new level. You will meet people that will take you places. You will form relationships that you could not have imagined you would have formed. I mean, I had people get married out of the last Unstoppable. They come to me, they met there, they got married there, all within 12 months. Within 12 months from meeting, they're married. So, I mean, just the pure amount of magic that happens at this event, I can't even tell you like how magical it is, but it's draped. It is draped in this energy of success. And if you get yourself there, you will have already taken 50% of the work. Let me just tell you that. And I guarantee you will be on a different course and direction in your life. And this is where we make it happen, amigos, where we make it happen. So,
J-Bud, let me round this out with 30 seconds of, if you're coming, raise your hand so we can just tell you, raise your hand, and then we'll just pound through a few names real quick. Adrian, Alana, I love it. Arnold, Becky, Bob, Brett, love to see you there. Bruno, Chris, oh, look at this. David, lots of David, Deborah, awesome. The names keep coming. Ethel, Eva, we love you guys. All the other hands that are raised, we will be seeing you there. I am absolutely pumped. J-Bud, go back to that screen with the link on it just so everybody can make sure they see it there in the world. And there it is. Take action tonight. Futuristicmarketing.com. Unstoppable 2012. Get the discount. And if you thought tonight was good, it's a tip of a very big iceberg of a 4-day immersive event with not just us, but other leaders. And really, without you, the event's not going to be the same. Bring yourself. It's a gift to everybody else. futuristicmarketing.com/unstoppable 2012.
Make it happen, my friends. The time to create the biggest possibilities for our life is right now. And if we don't show up in the biggest way, those possibilities are probably not going to exist. So take action, make it happen, get yourself to where all the leaders are, to where all the magic is, and I will see you all in November at Unstoppable 2012. Mark, have a great night, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Boom. Love you guys. See you soon.